Every February, the crowded gyms empty out. Healthy groceries go bad in the drawer, and the acoustic guitar sits in the corner, gathering dust. We usually blame ourselves when these efforts fail. Society conditions us to believe that achieving significant success requires an exhausting burst of ambition and willpower. This diagram reveals a problem with that logic. If you map the trajectories for both the winner and the loser of a competition, they point to the exact same destination node. Since successful and unsuccessful people share identical ambitions, the goal itself cannot be the variable that determines success. Goals define a temporary destination. Systems define the continuous, daily process of actually moving toward it. Author James Clear built a framework around this mechanical approach to human behavior. James Clear argues that failing to stick to a habit is a mechanical failure of systemic design, rather than a lack of character or motivation. This flow chart maps the four-step feedback loop behind human behavior: cue, craving, response, and reward. The process begins with the cue. Clear's first law is make it obvious. Rather than relying on discipline, design your physical space to trigger actions automatically. If you want to read before bed, you don't merely promise to do it. You place a book directly on your pillow in the morning. The physical object dictates your evening behavior. Next comes the craving. This requires the application of the second law, make it attractive. This line graph tracks levels of dopamine, a chemical in the brain that drives motivation and reward seeking. Notice how the spike occurs before the action even starts, peaking in anticipation, and then leveling off during the actual reward. You can engineer this anticipation through temptation bundling. By allowing yourself to watch a favorite show only while running on the treadmill, your brain craves the workout because it anticipates the entertainment. Hacking the visual triggers in your room and the biological anticipation in your brain removes the need for raw motivation. Moving through the loop, we arrive at the physical execution phase, the response. This is governed by the third law, make it easy. Human nature follows the law of least effort. When faced with two similar options, people gravitate toward the path requiring the least friction. You can exploit this with the 2-minute rule. You scale down a daunting new habit until it is impossible to fail. Writing a chapter becomes one sentence. Reading a book becomes one page. The loop closes with the reward. This brings us to the fourth law, make it satisfying. We carry an evolutionary mismatch. Bad habits deliver immediate pleasure and delayed consequences. Good habits require an immediate sacrifice for a payoff that might be months away. To bridge that gap, you can engineer an immediate reward. Physically checking a box on a visual habit tracker provides a hit of satisfaction right after a difficult task. Aligning your daily actions with these 4 laws transforms self-improvement into an automated assembly line. This graph exposes why most people quit. We expect a straight trajectory. Instead, early results dip below expectations, creating a gap known as the valley of disappointment. During the first weeks of a new routine, progress is often invisible. The changes accumulate beneath the surface before they cross the threshold to yield visible results. Human behavior follows the principles of compounding interest, driven by the 1% rule. If you improve by just 1% every day, the math takes over. By the end of a single year, you end up nearly 37 times better than where you started. Time magnifies the margin between success and failure. A flawed system only yields results if you outlast that early valley. These systems produce different results while gradually transforming the person operating them. The deepest layer of behavioral change is identity. A habit becomes permanent once it aligns with who you believe you are. Saying, "I want to run a marathon," is an outcome-based desire. Saying, "I am a runner," is an identity-based fact. Every tiny action or 2-minute habit is a vote cast for the type of person you wish to become. While willpower is a finite resource, engineering your environment provides a sustainable path. By casting those tiny votes every day, you allow the mathematics of compounding to build a new identity.